you join me on my first crap car collection of 2023 here in Dublin. Just got off the Lewis there, the tram. So I'm really looking forward to this one. A little bit nervous because it's a little bit older and a little bit more expensive than the cars I'd usually buy. But just hoping, touch wood, that it is what it looks like in the photographs. So yeah, let's get this one underway. You join me then on the test drive of what may become my new car. Any guesses as to what it is? This upholstery is quite funky, isn't it? Very much of its time. I'm quite impressed. It's a nice car. Everything seems to work fine. It drives pretty well. Stops okay. Brakes aren't fantastic, but you know, it's an old car, so we'll give it that. I have noticed though an oil leak underneath, which is concerning me. I pulled up, sorry, should I say, and yeah, it was quite clear, quite obvious that it was spilling quite a bit of oil, quite a lot of drips. There's a lot of oil staining down the front of the engine and underneath. So oh, I keep putting it to fifth accidentally. There we go, there's third. So that's a little bit worrying, but I suppose, look, I can use that as my bargaining chip to get a few quid off this thing. So yeah, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do some haggling, I think. I quite like it. Yeah, the temperature is sitting almost in the middle where it should be. It's got a little bit of gas left in it, a little bit of petrol. And I've got some documents here as well, which is always good. I have checked though the maintenance book, which is that one. And there's no stamps, there's nothing, I don't think. Which isn't great, but apparently it's had one lady owner over the past 20 years, since 2001, so the last, 22 years. So yeah, I mean, it looks like it's been looked after. It's only got 101,318 miles on the clock, so I mean, it obviously has been looked after. It would be a shame if an oil leak was to kill it. You know, I mean, how much is it going to be to fix an oil leak, you ask? And I ask as well. I mean, it depends what's gone. If it's a gasket somewhere, that could be a nice cheap job. If it's some kind of... Well, I don't know that much really mechanically about this car, so it could be anything really, couldn't it? But anyway, yeah, let's get back to the dealership. And I don't know how to do that. I'm going to have to put my maps on. And... let's try and get a deal over the line for this thing. I am now about to drive away in my new car. Oh, this is very exciting. It's my first crap car purchase of 2023, and not one I was really expecting to make. I saw it first up for sale about 2 weeks ago and thought, I'd like that. That looks quite nice. They're rare and unusual nowadays. You don't see too many of them about. So yeah, I finally had a day off work today, came up here, decided to take it for a test drive, and struck a deal, and she is mine. So yeah, this is quite the thrill. I have spent kind of a bit more money on it than I usually would do, but I think for rarity value alone, it's worth it really. But not going to tell you what it is until I do a reveal video, which will be coming up shortly. Now we are going to hit the motorway, so let's see what she's like on the... Well, I was going to say the open road. I mean, I brought her for quite a comprehensive test drive earlier on, but I didn't get her on the motorway. And of course there is rather horrendous traffic. Okay, that's 70. Doesn't feel like it, but according to my speedo it is. And it's all relatively calm in here, thankfully. Feels fine. There's a slight vibration coming through the steering wheel, but nothing that you'd be particularly complaining about, really. In fact, the phone that I'm filming on is pretty good for the image stabilization, but it's shaking about there. I'm not sure if it's actually being translated through to the viewing experience or not. Let's check the radio. We've got radio.
whatever it is.
Yeah, bit of Sean Moncrief on News Talk, lovely.
And it is okay. It's okay for kids to be tired.
That works fine.
after a long day at school and homework.
It's got a cassette player, no cassette. But annoyingly, the LCD display or liquid crystal display is gone. That's all knackered looking. So I don't know what radio station it is until I hear them tell it to me. So let's try and change it. There's RT Radio 1, that's good, that works. Yeah, so that's brilliant then, the radio works fine. We'll knock that off for now. In front of me I've got a Speedo, and to demonstrate the absolute poverty spec of this vehicle, a big huge clock. Just a big huge analogue clock. No rev counter on this. I've got keep fit windows, which are a little bit stiff. No rear headrests. And a couple of blanking plates down here, which is great. So yeah, why buy anything nice? It's a cost of living crisis. Keep it cheap. What about safety features? It hasn't got many. It's got a driver's airbag, seat belts. That's it. No passenger airbag. That's a glove box and a little glove opening thing, little kind of a shelf with a lid, which is quite handy actually. No curtain airbags or seat airbags, no, none of that fanciness. Get away with that rubbish. It's got a sunroof, but I've had pretty bad experiences with sunroofs on my numerous rubbish old cars. The first one I bought, the Hyundai Atos, that leaked, and the Micra didn't leak, it poured. So yeah, I'm reluctant to open that, if I'm honest. I don't think I'm going to bother. I have to say, it's cruising absolutely perfectly. It's really surprising me. It's very comfortable. These seats are really nice as well. They sort of hold you in place with these little side bolster bits there. You probably can't see them that well on camera. I'll show you later when I reveal the car. Very, very comfortable. It's got a floaty ride as well. Have to say, so far, and I'm not home yet, so fingers crossed it stays this way, but so far I'm impressed. In terms of electrical gizmos in here, there isn't many. The radio, we've already tested it, that works. Let's try the fan. So that's off, that's setting 1. Yeah, that works. That's setting 2. Yeah, that works as well, that's good. That's 3, and that's now quite a nice blustery breeze in my face. Yeah, that's nice too. Let's try maximum setting of 4. It's like a hurricane in here. Yeah, that's blowy. And we can safely draw the conclusion that works absolutely fine. There's quite a few storage areas in this car which I really like. We've got a cavernous glove box there, which is actually full of screws, a pen, and quite a lot of horrible old dust. That looks disgusting. We've got a top kind of a glove box thing here, which is actually felt lined so that your rubbish doesn't rattle around. That's great. Got a little bit of storage down here by the gear stick. A bit there that my bottle is currently living in here next to the handbrake. We've actually got a little pocket here as well. Oh, it's actually just come off in my hand. Looks like a little coin tray. I suppose I better try and put that back. Oh, there we go. Easy. I did notice on the test drive, and I am re-noticing now that the road surface has changed to a much smoother one, that there is quite a significant grinding noise coming from, I believe, the front left-hand wheel. I'm hoping it's just a wheel bearing, and it's like a consistent grinding noise, whatever that signifies. I don't really know, but yeah, it just sounds grindy. I also did notice there is a Torrey Canyon-esque oil leak coming from the engine. That's not great either. I parked it up to have a little look underneath to check the sills and check the cross members and all that kind of stuff on the floor, and it all looks pretty good, looks rust free. But then I noticed that there was quite a lot of oil that was dripping out of it. And I mean, I literally just parked the car up as well for a moment or two, and it was leaking out. I popped the bonnet, had a look, and the engine it's caked in oil. It really is. So that is another concern. But hopefully that would be a cheap fix. Hopefully. I just hate the idea of this car getting scrapped for something like a wheel bearing and an oil leak. I mean, that would have been a bit criminal, wouldn't it? It is time to reveal the new purchase, and I'm really excited for this. It's driven fantastically all the way back to almost home. So 3, 2, 1, here it is. It's a Peugeot 306. Look at this. Oh, yes. I've wanted one of these to be honest, I've wanted loads of rubbish old cars for a long time, but this has definitely been on the bucket list for quite a while. What a beauty. It's the Genoa model, which, as far as I can gather from the specification of the car, means that it is poverty because it's not got a lot. I love this. It's the original dealer sticker, and I've just noticed it's still got the original dealer plates. Look at that, isn't that brilliant? Oh, I love that. Yeah, she looks all right, doesn't she? Nice fancy graphics down the side. Not really sure, is that kind of some kind of sail yacht or something to denote Genoa? Must be. Never been. I much prefer these earlier ones with the kind of cookie dough cutter Peugeot badge. I always think they looked a lot better than the facelift models. Look, she's a little bit rough around the edges, as you'll be able to see. In fact, I'm kind of struggling to find really rough parts. It's very straight on the body, but yeah, that needs a bit of attention. The sunroof kind of hatch thing, kind of little rough spots in here, as you can see, with the windscreen rubbers. This is kind of a nice pensioner Giffer feature, a little mirror magnification thingy. The wheel trims are awful. I really don't like them. I've got a spare set of Peugeot trims at home that I took off the 106 I had last year, so they're gonna go on. Oh, and yeah, this one's got a wheel arch mudguard, whereas this one, don't know if you can see that, but it hasn't. So they tend to rust and rot out up here, and I'm just hoping this one is okay, but I'll have to pull the trim out to find that out. Let's have a little look in here. We've got Poverty Keep Fit windows, which work really well, actually. It's the first time I've put them up or down. Yeah, they're great. Lovely interior, look at that. How 90s is that? Brilliant. Got some nice speakers in the back. I'm glad to report the radio works absolutely fine. Seatbelt seems to, well, it's a little bit stiff and a little bit slow, I suppose, but it seems to recoil fine. If it doesn't, that can be a sign that it's corroded up there. Hopefully it's not. A little bit of trim missing there at the back, but that is sitting over there. Is that an ashtray or something, is it? I don't know what that is, actually. A little bit of storage space there. Nice. I think these are original mats. And I say that because we've got original mats here in the... Have we actually on this side? Oh. Well, we do on that side. Original Peugeot mats over on that side. As you can see there with the lion. But these look very similar, so yeah, they probably are original too. Glove box, which is full of old crud and horribleness. Lockable though. And this kind of top glove box thing, which you just pop open like that. So that'll need a little hoover, but that's nice, isn't it? We've got original radio, heating controls, nice blanking plate there, another nice blanking plug, and some minor electrical gizmos. ashtray with cigarette lighter, which can be a little bit hard to push up, but it does go up. There's the gear stick, handbrake. We've got some nice documents here. That's my invoice. There's all the documents and all that, so I'll have a little look at those this evening. Poverty windows. We have got some damage actually here, which is a little bit annoying. That looks like it's going to fall off, so might have to see can I fix that. That's not great really, is it? It's a, you know what, it's missing a screw, and there is a screw I think somewhere in the back seat. I'll find that later, so maybe that's what's missing. There's the NCT information. Gonna have to book it in for a fresh NCT. Like a bit of tax on it in a little while, but it's an original Appleyard still organ disc holder thing there too. She's a fine looking car, isn't she? Now I'm almost out of battery here, so I'm just going to show you the engine. Where's my... There we go. There is the dashboard with the lights becoming nicely or the dials becoming nicely illuminated at this time of the evening. There is my steering wheel with an airbag. It's all good. There's my original Peugeot matte, which has seen slightly better days there, but isn't too bad. There's the petrol flap opener and the driver's seat, which needs a bit of a clean, but is lovely and comfortable and soft. Brilliant. Headlining, pristine. Right, let's have a little look under the bonnet then before I go home. There's some nice period stickers there. They're lovely, aren't they? I'll have to see if Appleyard is still about. I have no idea. Might get them on their fax number, eh? Right, how do you open this? There we go. Now, let me just... Plenty of heat coming from in here, but all looks nice and straight, doesn't it? 1.4 petrol. As you can see though, there is quite a lot of oil escaping. It's very oily in there, and there's a lot of oil down there, and we've had it sat for a minute or two here. I can't see any oil underneath that actually just yet, but there will be, believe me, there will be. We're quite wet down there, as you can see. That's not great. I'm hoping it's just what looks like this here where it's split. I'm hoping that's some kind of a gasket or whatever, and that's where it's seeping out. But I don't know, so yeah. Belts look okay. I haven't really had a proper look at them yet though. Battery looks fine. Everything looks alright, doesn't it? So let's put this down. Hang on a second. It's all very... Sadly that doesn't clip, so I just got to kind of lower it down and just sort of drop it and hope for the best. I'll have to stick a little cable tie on that to try and fix it, but overall I don't think it's too bad at all really. Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? So oh, I haven't shown you the boot yet. Sorry, let's have a look in the boot. We've got a full-size spare. Got a feeling that might be destined for perhaps a cradle underneath the car. I'm not going to go lifting it and all that now, simply because I can't really be bothered. We'll find that out later on, but yeah. Oh, it looks fine, doesn't it? It's jack and a wheel brace and all that in this. That's all good. And it closes nicely too. So then, let's hit the road. Oh God. Now, I did a bit of research on these cars before I was looking at it, and there is quite a worrying issue on a lot of them with rear corrosion. So basically the rear quarter member, whatever pillar that is at the back, basically on the left hand side of the car, so the passenger side at the back, there's no mud guard in the rear wheel arch. So what happens over time is mud and crud and excrement and rubbish collect up at the very top near where the seatbelt mount is welded on, and it rots out over time. So I've seen images online of old 306s where the seatbelt mount is literally hanging on by a tiny little bit of sheet metal because it's rusted around it completely, and that is worrying, and it does scare me. It would have been too big a thing to start tearing off the trim at the back to have a look underneath it. I think one way of looking at it is obviously getting underneath the wheel, having a look up through the wheel arch, but it's all black and undersealed up there, so you can't really see what's going on. I did have a look and couldn't see anything that was amiss. That doesn't mean nothing is amiss, but I do know from doing a bit of research that if the seatbelt doesn't recoil, you could have an issue. And my rear seatbelt seems to recoil fine, thankfully, so I'm hoping to God that there's no corrosion issues. I will, though, over the next couple of days or weeks or whatever, tear that trim off. Try not to damage it, obviously, but I'll remove it and have a look, and obviously pray that it's okay under there. It would be quite a difficult thing for an NCT or MOT tester to get the fingers on to identify. It would be quite tricky. They'd have to go tearing bits of trim apart and off the car and that, so it's unlikely to be found, which I suppose kind of is good because it isn't going to fail the car, but it's bad for safety because if you've got somebody sitting in the back with that seatbelt on them and you're involved in a collision, there's going to be nothing holding the thing on. That is very, very dangerous indeed. We are edging ever closer to home, and so far everything is going as it should, thankfully. The engine temperature is slap bang in the middle. In fact, it's ever so slightly on the cool side of it in the middle, which is great. We've got just about enough fuel to get me home, I would imagine. It's about 7 minutes past 4, thanks to the huge clock I've got, and I'm doing about 55 miles an hour-ish. Yeah, everything's fine in here, thankfully. With regards to the radio, I've just noticed I've got a little control down here by the steering wheel for the volume and that, but it feels very loose and very knackered. Does it work? Let's see.
Or visit onpostinsurance.ie. Acceptance criteria, terms and conditions apply. One Direct Ireland Limited.
No, it's just flopping around.
One Direct Ireland Limited.
No, that's broken.
Home insurance underwritten by you.
It's a shame, that, isn't it? So I'm just moments from home now in the 306, and it's been another faultless crap car collection. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with that. This car, yeah, it feels absolutely fine. It's amazing to think this thing is 27 years old. It's almost as old as me, and it just feels tight as a drum. It's absolutely fantastic. Gonna have to obviously sort that oil leak at the front, that grinding noise from the front wheel, but as far as I can tell, they seem to be the only niggles. Now I'm gonna have to put it through an NCT because it expired about a month ago, so that's not great. There are huge NCT waiting lists here in Ireland, so as long as you keep the car in a roadworthy condition, you can drive pretty much. So yeah, I mean, God knows what horrors that'll throw up, but it feels, I mean, I've driven plenty of cars, it feels really good, I have to say. So I'm happy, but we'll see what the future holds. So yeah, listen, look, thanks for watching, thanks for coming along with me on this journey. It's been pretty straightforward, thankfully, and that's the way you want them. You don't want things going wrong and it being a mess. So I'm happy with how this has gone. So yeah, like, subscribe, share, and there will be a lot of 306 content to come.